So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. What a qualifying yesterday for George Russell. He'll start today's race from pole position, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Sainz, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Perez, Norris, Gasly, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Ocon, Sargent, Albon, Ricciardo, Joe, Tsunoda, and the owner-driver rounds off the grid. Bottas and Jenson Button rounds off the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you...
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Well, they're not going to make anything easy for us in this sprint. Hello, everybody. Joe here, and welcome back to the Equal Cars Championship. This is round 6. We're at Spa. This is the sprint race, and there is a chance of a shower at the end. That could shake things up. But right now we're on the grid. Let's see what we can do in this sprint race. Can we place ourselves well for the feature race? We are underway, and we are underway relatively well here as I'm going down the inside of La Source, but we're going to get quite crowded out here if I'm not careful. That has not happened. We've actually moved up quite a few places. We've now got Ocon and Hulkenberg going side by side. Well, I was going to say they're going side by side, but Ocon got past him before we got to Eau Rouge, which is a bit of a relief. Right, down the Kemmel Straight. Can we pick off any of these? Potentially Hulkenberg, but I want to do that without going into the back of Ocon. And that's exactly what we've done. Also, Magnussen seems just a little bit out of shape there. I see Gasly's battling him, but we've moved up to 15. We've gained, well, quite a few places on this opening lap. It was going to be 5, but make that... it's still 5 because Gasly's gone round the outside of the corner with no name. I thought we'd got past him, but we haven't. Lap 1 of 15 here at Spa. And this is one of my favourite circuits on the calendar. And it's also one of my strongest. So I'm really thinking we're going to have a good weekend here. But first off, we got 14 laps of this sprint to decide where we will start the main event. Trying to look for a way past Ocon now. I thought it was Gasly. I don't know why I said it was Gasly when it was Ocon. We're now coming up to Blanchimont. Is there a way past him round here? I don't think so. I don't want to hit him at Blanchimont. Well, that would be catastrophic. He's going defensive, and I'm going to have to take avoiding action because I was very late on the brakes, and that, well, that is very costly. I was going for a move on Ocon. I had to take avoiding action of him, jam on the brakes, and then I had to take avoiding action of some of the other cars. And as a result, we've lost the place at some of the ground that we've gained. We've gone from what could have been a potential P14 to P17, and that has ruined the early momentum we had. But it's time to get the head down. There's still 14 laps left of this sprint. Let's make what we can. First off is Zhou Guanyu, and he is about a second ahead of us, but we should catch that relatively easily because these guys are in a line and I'm pushing hard. So meanwhile, leading the way appears to be, if the map is anything to go by, Max Verstappen, and he's going to mean business here. He could have had a chance of a win at Abu Dhabi last time out, if you remember, but going into us, followed by a poor safety car strategy, really put pace at any chance of a win he had. And in fact, it ended up being Lando Norris who won the race, as Hulkenberg goes very deep there, and I think that's allowed Zhou through. That has allowed Joe through, and now we're looking for a way through. These two are still side by side, and I wonder, is Hulkenberg just going to be a little bit compromised here? And is that going to make a way for... Oh my God! No, surely not! This is some of the bravest attempts at overtaking I've made, but I had to back out of that. That would have ended nasty if I didn't back out of that. My goodness me, that was... I think I need a minute to get my heart rate down, but we've got past Hulkenberg, and now we're going to just dive past Joe here into the source, but Joe then just gets the up and under, or as Crofty calls it, the old switcheroo, but we should be past him as we head onto the Kemmel Straight. Look how much slower he's going. We should be able to get past him here. We're down the inside. He's not going to have any defence for that. And we blast past back into P15. Back where we were before we had the shenanigans at the end of lap 1, which cost us time and places. So we have essentially gained back what we lost. But now we've got to try and make more gains. It's basically a reset. We've got to try and push ahead. Right, who's next? It's Esteban Ocon, who's tucked up behind Logan Sargent. And if you thought my heart was in my mouth going around Blanchimont, his probably was, seeing me coming right towards him at the bus stop before going off. And that's really not the way to drive that sector. I think that's one of the worst sectors I've ever driven. In fact, Joe is right behind me. What is happening here? Joe is right behind me. Surely he's not going to have a look. He's going to have a look. There's no way through. In fact, we are just edging him out on straight line speed a bit. Alright, Max, we get it. You're quick, you know, with your 1:46.7s. My fastest is a 1:47.3, so... Well, now it's a 1:47.1. So we're still a few tenths off what is the ultimate pace. But now we're back in traffic. And we're just going to have to try and thread our way through what appears to be a bit of a DRS train. I can't see who's ahead of Sargent, who's holding this lot up. But there is somebody there. There's a couple of little DRS trains I've noticed that we've got going in this sprint at this point. Can't make out on the map who's leading them. I think there's a Ferrari leading one. I believe that'll be Carlos Sainz because Leclerc started lower. Right, where are we? We're on lap 4. This is a long lap and this is going to be a long sprint. So I hope you're all sitting comfortably. So we're in this battle between Sargent, Ocon and Magnussen has actually cleared this now. So we might find it's easier to get away through. But I'm just a little bit stuck here. So we're not having this one entirely our own way. But mind you, I've said that at early stages of sprints before. Then we've had something fall into place and we end up P3. So just because right now it's not going our way doesn't mean by the end it won't. As we approach Ocon, the end of the lap. I think I'm going to have a little send into La Source. I think we're going to have a little go and get past Ocon here. Yes, we are. We catch him napping a bit there. As we move up to 14th, and next up is going to be Logan Sargent in the Williams. Here we go, here we are on Logan Sargent. We have got the DRS on him. Got a nice little toe as well, and we're going to go down the inside, and I'm going to try not to hit Kevin Magnussen. Sargent is holding this out. I'm going to give him space, but we find the momentum to complete the move on Logan Sargent. So we've moved up another place, and next up is Magnussen in 12th. And then there's another trio of cars, but then there's a gap, so that'll be a chance to stretch the car's legs a bit and see what she's capable of. At the moment, we're still in a little bit of traffic. We got Magnussen dead ahead, and then we've got a tiny bit of a gap to the next battle. But I feel like we're all kind of driving towards this battle here. I don't think any of us are particularly losing time to the battle ahead. And Magnussen, I think, might just be within that second. And unfortunately, that's just about close enough to give them a bit of a headache. And we want to be giving Magnussen the headache. But I tell you what, we are doing just that. So I can see us reeling him in down the straight. Is it going to be enough for a go in the bus stop? No. In fact, that would have been suicide to go there. But we might have a look into La Source. And I think, like with Ocon, we can just catch him napping and get down the inside. And that is exactly what we've done. Up into P12. Next up is Gasly and Perez. And ahead of them is Piastri. And then once we get clear of these guys, it's the main battle in front. We're a third of the way through this sprint now. We've just got 10 laps to go. But we're still not quite close enough to make impressions on these guys yet. But I think someone is having a go at Perez, is having a go at Piastri, but he's not been able to make it, so that's not worked out for him. And we're starting to just edge our way towards the Frenchman, Pierre Gasly, for P11. But it is another little train that we've got to navigate here. Hate that curve because you never know when you hit it. Are you hitting it lightly enough to not spin, or have you hit it too hard and the car's just going completely round? You never know when you're hitting that curve. It's one of those. Verstappen has just checked out of this, hasn't he? I've just seen the map. Verstappen has royally checked out. So he means business here in Spa, but guess what? So do I. I think there's 19 points in it in the championship at the moment. I'm not entirely sure of the gaps. But Magnussen's staying with me. That's disconcerting to say the least. Magnussen is staying right there, which is not what I need. I need to be just edging him a bit. And I tell you what, we positioned the car perfectly to attack Gasly. Are we going to do it in Eau Rouge? No, we're going to do it on the Camel Straight, which is what we're coming up to now. And we've got such a run on Gasly. DRS open. And I'm going to go down the inside, and Pierre is not even going to fight that. Neither is Perez fighting Norris. Sorry, neither is Norris fighting Perez. So that is Norris, it's not Piastri. I do beg your pardon. Norris not fighting Perez, and Perez gaining the position. And I think the Mercedes has got past Carlos Sainz, but I think they're all still having their own little fight. Oof. And I got a little bit worried then. I thought I was going straight for that wall. That wall is a race ender. You do not want to hit it. And I just want to check the weather report. Right, so weather is still clear, so I think the rain that there is a chance of towards the end, we might just miss unless we get a red flag or a safety car. So I don't think we're going to be affected by the incoming weather. But I tell you what, we are going to be a little bit affected by. Gasly is not letting us get away. He's staying right with us, as is Magnussen. So we're not making quite the progress in pulling ahead of them that I would like. But it is the end of another lap, and we're about halfway through now. And I'm within Norris's DRS. Now this battle was very different last time out in Abu Dhabi. This was a battle for first, now it's a battle for 10th. It just goes to show in this series, in this championship, one race makes a difference. And at the moment we're heading up the hill, trying to get after Norris. I don't think we're going to be close enough to do it this time. I'm just going to have a little cheeky poke out my head, but it doesn't amount to anything. And we stay behind Norris for now, and that's a lot of curve, and that's a bit of gravel too. Nearly destabilising the car. I'm amazed that we didn't lose it there. I kept my foot in it though, I wasn't going to lose time. And we're now behind these two. And I fear we may be stuck behind them till the end of the lap. So we might have a go at the bus stop. But what isn't helping is me taking that line out of Poumon and slowing me up just a little bit. So in P11 right now, we're again slowly moving forward, but it's not been quite the progress I'd hoped for, but still, we're doing alright. We've moved up not 9 positions from P20, so can't complain too much there. And I think the best bet is going to be to sling it out of La Source. Sling it out of turn 1, set it up, and go for it down the Camel Straight. But Norris is closer to Perez than we are to Norris, so that's going to give us a bit of a headache. Hard on the brakes. Into La Source. Fully on the throttle, but I think we've actually nailed the run here. I think we've got a bit of a run that we're beginning. And if we can just nail Eau Rouge fine, I think we might be able to make something of this, because we're now coming straight at Lando Norris. Norris goes to cover, and you know what? Perez is there. Oh, I braked way too late here, and I've gone into Perez. Is that a double overtake? No, it isn't, and it's barely going to be one overtake. I braked way too late there and tried to avoid hitting Perez, but I think we've actually tagged him. I've now gone past Norris, who's now been passed by Gasly. Oh, that was some really late braking. Gasly's going on the inside of me here. What? I've never seen 2 cars go wheel to wheel round Poumon, but that is what's happening here. Gasly's still on the outside. He's still going for it, is Pierre Gasly. And we're still side by side. And we're coming up to Stavelot. But Gasly has got back past. Pierre Gasly moving into P10. Wow, that was some great wheel-to-wheel action there. Neither one of us wanting to back out or compromise. And I tell you what, that was quite a tasty little battle. But Gasly, I am not done with you yet, because I'm coming past you down the inside. And that catches Gasly napping. No, it doesn't. We bang wheels, there's contact. And Gasly still keeps the position. Hulkenberg's out of the race. Gasly is defending this so well, as we now go to the outside of 1. And you know what? I'm just going to keep my car here. No, we're going to go side by side down here. And we're heading towards the Camel Straight. I've got past him, but Gasly has got right behind me, just as the DRS comes into play now. So Gasly's got himself a tasty bit of DRS. I can't do anything. I'm a sitting duck without it. Look at the 2 cars either side of me, Norris and Magnussen. And these guys have gone past. I'm making the move back ahead of Norris for 12. Norris loses out, and I've lost another place. What is going on here? I should be moving forwards, not moving backwards. Right, let's get back after these 2 now. Magnussen, I am so not done with you. I cannot believe the battles I'm having here. And this is a battle right in the mid-pack. Not to mention the fact there's only a few laps left, and I've dropped back further than I would really want to. I was saying this is one of my strongest circuits earlier, but so far that's not proving true. We're really struggling with some of these here. Wow, this really isn't going my way. Right, let's try and get back after Magnussen. Let's refocus, get the head back down, and get after Magnussen. We've got Norris there, who's half asleep. I'm going to try and catch Magnussen napping a bit here. That was a bit of an ambitious move, to say the least. I don't even think that was supposed to be an overtake. I think I just missed my braking spot and turned it into an overtake. But whatever, an overtake is still an overtake, and that is P11 back. And I want to be gone because Magnussen is going to try once again to use that DRS to his advantage. But by the time we get up to the top of the hill, I'm long gone. I'm getting back after Pierre Gasly, who started my downfall back towards the mid-pack. And I'm not happy with that, Mr. Gasly. I am not happy with that, so you can just do me a favour and get back here and get back behind me. There's 4.5 laps left to go in this sprint race, and I am nowhere near where I want to be. I'm in P11, and I'm nearly in the corner with no name again. But you know what? We're back within the second zone of Perez. I wish we were within a second of Perez. We're nowhere near Perez. Who we are near is Gasly. So let's focus on Gasly for now. And Gasly's actually got quite a decent run out of Sector 2. We're not really doing well in the second sector of this lap. It's only when we get towards Sector 3 and we do Sector 1 again that we are particularly strong. We're actually quite weak around the rest of the circuit, so... And Sector 2 is quite a big sector, so... But right now, let's focus on how we're going to do this. Doing it in last source might be a mistake here. We've got another yellow flag. I think that's Jenson Button slowing down. Not entirely sure. Someone's coming to a halt. I think that is Button. Teammates in the pit, so he's had a scrape with somebody. I didn't see who it was, but I believe he's had a scrape as we now head towards Gasly. And I'm sorry, Pierre, but this has been coming for a couple of laps now. You just had the privilege of delaying the inevitable. Here I come. Just accept it. Thank you very much. Let's move on. P10 is back to being ours. And now I'm going to do what I should have done a few laps ago, and that is get after Sergio Perez. And you know what, if I can take 9th from this, I won't be too disappointed, particularly considering all the shenanigans that we've been involved with in this race. It does make things interesting for the feature moving ahead to Monday night, which is when I'll be streaming it. And it gives us a bit of a tall order to climb up through the field. But so far, let's have a go at getting after Perez. I think we can. I'm not liking Sector 2. I'm struggling there. We've got 3 laps to go. What can we do about Perez? I think everybody ahead is too far ahead. I don't think we're going to be able to catch them. And I think trying to catch them might just be a bit of an order too tall for us. But I'm going to try and get after Perez. I really want to know what happened to Button. We'll have to unpack that after the race. I just know he's had a collision with somebody though, as we get out of the source. I tell you what, we're not even catching Perez by as much as I would like. And I wonder, are we doing enough to catch him? Because I think that Red Bull is quite quick at this stage. And we've officially run out of overtake with the straight. And it's a pretty miserable experience when you run out of overtake down this straight. Because the Kemmel straight is quite long. And Norris is moving back ahead of Magnussen now. So Norris making some gains back. And we are now 1.5 seconds within Perez. So we can just edge out half a second and try and get another half a second in the next couple of laps. We'll be there, and that's very close to the wall. But I didn't want to take my foot off the throttle and lose the time we've gained to Perez, but we're already losing it with that line. I don't know whether we're going to be able to do this, you know. I think Perez is just... I mean, he's got Sector 2 to a T. Oh yeah, the tyres are really looking good, aren't they? Yeah, they're looking so good. We're losing time everywhere. But for now, let's just see what we can do here. 1.6 is the gap. We're going to need a mighty penultimate lap to try and catch Perez to get ourselves within the DRS of that Red Bull. That's what we need. We need a good lap. And this one, well, this was a fairly good lap, but it's not been particularly quick. And in fact, Perez able to make a little gain around there. And that's what not what we need. This is where we need to do it. This is the lap. We need to just start catching him back up. But we definitely get a good run out of La Source. That's what we need. That is where we're getting good runs at the moment. And if we can get some momentum down the straight, that fastest lap from Button is pretty decent, gotta be said. It's unfortunate though that we won't see him have any further impact in this Grand Prix. Obviously after taking the damage early on. I say Grand Prix, this is a sprint. It's a shame we won't see him make any real impact within the sprint. But now we're trying to make an impact upon this man, Sergio Perez, who is holding on to the P9 that I covet at this moment. Trying not to let that curb put me round as we charge through Poumon. And we're doing what we need to at the moment. We're edging closer to him. And it looks as if he's struggling a little bit with his tyres. It looks as if there's just a little bit of a struggle going on. And that might be our way forward. That might be our ticket forward. But for now, I'm going to try and save overtake. I don't really want to use it. I want to use it to catch him. And we are catching him. 8 tenths is the gap. 7 tenths. Come on, we got this. We can do this. All it's going to take is just a competent run out of here. And then we need to get a nice run on the straight. Avoid using overtake because it'll come to us when we go down the Kemmel Straight. I don't think we're close enough. But it's going to be all about how we set this up. And that's not bad. As far as it goes, that is not bad. We do have several tenths to gain. I think we're just too far back here, you know, but what the hey, let's give it a go. Another fastest lap for Jenson Button. So Button flying at the moment, and are we quick enough? No, we're going to run out of straight before we can get anywhere near Perez, but there will be one more opportunity, and that will be the bus stop chicane at the end of the lap. So we've just got to stay close with him here. That's the plan. Try and stay close through the end of Sector 2. Don't try any overly heroics. Just stay close. Stay close through Poumon. We're doing that. He's just trying to edge away, but we're not going to let him. I do not want to let him breathe. I want him vulnerable. I want him nice and vulnerable for us. I think, however, he may just have enough of a cushion, but we'll soon see as we use the last of our overtake. I'm just putting it all into effect, and I think Perez has just got it. I think Perez just about has enough. The winner of the sprint race, no surprises then, it is Max Verstappen who wins. We are going to take P10 though. So it's a 5th row start, and we got quite a bit to do in the 44 lap race that is ahead of us.
Right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid line up.
Well, that's the result for the sprint then. Verstappen dominating it. There's no other word for it. That was domination. Lewis Hamilton getting 2nd. 3rd place is George Russell. Sainz is 4th. Lance Stroll picking up some good points for Aston Martin in 5th. And then it's Piastri, Leclerc and Alonso, with Perez and myself rounding out the 10. Norris getting ahead of Gasly. Then it's Magnussen, Ocon, Joe Sargent, Ricardo Bottas. Button moving up to 19th in the end, ahead of Alex Albon. And your retirements are Tsunoda and Hulkenberg. But I want to see... because obviously something happened here. Why did Button suddenly lose pace and then pit? I'm not sure. So he just pits. Is there anything change? It looks like it... hang on, no, that's a puncture. That's a front left puncture that Button had. So he didn't hit anyone, that was just a puncture. So that's why our teammate lost out. It happened right there, just before Blanchimont. Button punctured. And what happened with Tsunoda? I'm not sure. When did Tsunoda retire? It might have been the last lap, who knows. Right, thank you for watching, guys. Join me for the feature race coming soon. Till then, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. TTFN, ta-ta for now. Take care.